Hi, my name is Colin Williams. Today I'll be answering Creative Critical Reflection number 3, which is how did your production skills develop throughout this project? At the start of it, I had just about no clue with what to do in any of this. I had no experience in cameras, I had no experience in editing, I had no experience in making sure sound was picked up, I had no experience in anything that almost had anything to do with mezzanine. I was going basically into this blind. But as the filming progressed and as time went on, I definitely learned a lot about what I could do. For example, with the cameras, at the start of it, I had no clue how to hold a camera, how to take a photo with a camera, how to film with a camera. I had no clue. It all looked like a random bunch of buttons and a lens to me. So I basically, on the first day of shooting, I had to learn how to use it through Romaine as she picked up the camera from Beacon, and that was a process in and of itself, just trying to figure out what button did what button took me where, what button was even to take a photo, and what button was to film. It was just, I definitely learned a lot, and I didn't get as nervous as the day went on, because at the start of it, I mainly tried to keep it on a tripod just in case something happened to it, but by the end of it, I was confidently holding it in my hand and taking photos of us just to make sure I could still figure out what to do later, just in case one of us couldn't make the second filming day. And for the second filming day, I mainly tried to keep it on a tripod because we were also outdoors. This because we were filming the picnic scene, and I wanted to make sure nothing could have happened to it, like a rock couldn't have even fallen. That type of worry about it. So it was a long process. We tried to keep it in its case when we weren't filming, just to make sure it didn't get dirty. I made sure nothing bad could happen to it. I wore gloves just in case something from like the syrup that we used for the heart didn't get on my hands. I was really trying to learn a lot while also trying to make sure the camera didn't get damaged or like smeared in any way that would ruin its quality and we'd have to pay for damages. In terms of editing, I had again no experience in it, so it was a process for me to learn, and I mainly shadowed Romine as she was editing, and I would basically just kind of sit there and help her go through what was a good clip, what was a clip that was like a last resort if we just needed it, and what was a terrible clip. And that really taught me a lot about trying to figure out what editing is, and I learned how to skim clips. I learned how to make sure shots were good. I learned how to see the smoothness of the scene play out as you started editing pieces together. I learned a lot about trying to figure out how to get the title screen and the credits to kind of play at the same time with the sound. I definitely learned a lot about sites too. I learned about Caden Live, which was a free editing site that we used, and I just learned a lot about sites in general and what could be done to help, further editing in case I needed it. And then in terms of lighting was the only thing I really knew the most about, and so uh, my job was props as well as the camera work. So I got the lava lamp that we used during the bedroom scenes that you can see in the corner sitting next to his bed. I was in charge of getting that, and so that was a process, making sure it got here on time, making sure it was paid for, making sure I knew how to work it. I definitely learned a lot more about lava lamps and learning about props in general with the heart and the cake, and making sure nothing smeared, nothing got damaged, nothing in itself was just became useless and got broken and ruined the scene. So I had to learn a lot about where props are placed and learned about how props work within scenes. And finally, from as a scene, I had to learn mainly, I knew most about costuming and hair and making sure that it looks right, because we wanted the theme of the dream sequence to be like a 50s theme. So we had Axel wear a suit, and we had the other actress Cynthia wear a dress to kind of fit in with that kind of old timey theme that we wanted to contrast modern day with. And so I wore a black jacket for the scene where he's grabbed out of nowhere and pulled back into the real world. I wore a black jacket and black gloves just to make sure that not only did the hands not look human, but also to help protect my hands, my clothes, and whatever I touched from getting smeared with the syrup I used to kind of cover the heart in to make it look more alive and kind of, I guess, authentic in that kind of sense. So it really taught me a lot about how much goes into production, but it also taught me a lot about camera work editing, lighting, and basically everything that I needed to know. It taught me a lot about.